Hello and welcome to What's Map for Cities Skylines, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. There are thousands of items on the workshop now, so finding the right one for your next city build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review some using our 5-star rating and the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture out to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. BonBon here, how you doing? And it's Monday, the weekend is gone. Back to work, guys. Back to work. Right, now before we get started on today's map, which I can promise you is a challenging map. Don't write it off. I know you're looking at it going, what the actual hell? Yeah, it's very aesthetic and it's very challenging. If you've got skills, this might be something a bit different for you to have a go at. So don't write it off immediately. So that's your challenge. My challenge for last week was to stay awake. I run myself right down into the ground. I managed to keep What Map going, but I did make mistakes. One of those mistakes was on Friday, where I reviewed El Canyon by CheckMX, and I used the wrong theme and LUT. Very poor of me. They weren't on the required list at the time, but CheckMX has fixed that. They are in the required lists now, so hopefully no one else will make the same mistake that I did. Right, okay, let's have a quick look. I want to put things right. Okay, this was the wrong theme and LUT that I used. This is the Vanilla Temperate and the Realistic 1.2 LUT. And then on the right hand side now you can see the recommended theme and LUT. That's the Realistic Temperate with the Cinematic HD, the old Cinematic HD LUT from OWL. You can see it definitely looks a whole lot better now with this combo. So yeah, I'd like to apologise to CheckMX for failing him and not giving him this. This is what the actual area of El Canyon looks like in this particular area of Mexico. Now I did recommend the Mossy Mountains theme. I'm going to show you that in a second, split the screen again. You can see how this and the Mossy Mountains compare side by side against the photo. So yeah, on the left, Mossy Mountains, and that's with the Relight theme LUT. So I mean, you tell me, what do you prefer? I don't know. Stick in the comments down below. But either way, I am ever so sorry, CheckMX, I failed you. Okay, let's get on and do some begging. Please do this. Yes, clicking like really does help me to hopefully stay awake. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting the channel. Okay then, now today's map is Noisia by Mouton Roshi. Hopefully I'm getting that a little bit right. A little bit right would be better than a lot of it wrong. There's your start square, right there on that little blobby bit. I love it, absolutely love it. And resources are, I mean, they're splattered and colourful as well. The whole map is indeed a work of art. Apparently randomly generated, and I would not be surprised. I don't know how it was randomly generated, but it's being randomly generated. There is a little bit of pixelization going on. Hello, we've got some interesting roads. Now there's only one highway, so 2 highway connections, no rail. Now the highway on the left is statically high all the way around. The highway on the left is terrain conforming. There's a bit of an oops there, I'm afraid, Mouton. That is just a bit of an oops. It does sort itself out by the end. By the time we get to the middle of the map, both of them will be running level with each other. But yeah, this was a bit of an oopsie moment and just needs fixing. It really, really does need fixing. Quite easily done, especially with the Move It tool and the terrain conforming button. Okay, by now you can see now everything's leveled out now and everything's good at this point as we head towards the start square. And what's the start square going to look like close up? Well, it's elevated all the way, which is quite good because there's some limitations in build. Like the start square intersection is elevated, and that's quite nice in a way because once you get your highways down, which at this end is going to be a bit of a struggle, you're running out of space there already, you can start putting roads underneath and connecting things, and even zoning underneath there as well. So yeah, plenty of options there. Of course, if you're zoning underneath that, you're going to need anarchy, but I'm sure you knew that already. Right, well that kind of covers that. There's not too much to talk about with this map, so it's going to be a shortish episode. It also helped me to show you a little bit of CheckMX's true colours, of course. Okay, interesting. Suspension on one side and standard on the other, and same up ahead in the clouds. Okay, off to Assetville. Get ready, get coat. Did you get your coat? Hopefully you've got your ID as well, because you're going to need ID to get into this secure stronghold. It's the US Embassy in London, in UK, London, by Dakvid 2727. This is a fairly recently completed building and highly secure, and all the glass is apparently bomb-proof, and I suppose if you get within 5 meters, or 50 meters of the place even, there will be guns pointed at you and CCTV cameras as well, just to be safe, of course. And yeah, of course, the US Embassy needs to be a secure embassy, probably more than any other one. It's more likely to be targeted. And especially the one in London, it's kind of a double whammy. But anyway, US Embassy in London, in UK, London, read it, BonBon, by Dakvid 2727. That's a faithful rendition. I quite like it. Very nicely done. Well done, Dakvid. More, please. Next, please. Next, please. As we go off to Themington Island for this week's theme and luck combo, I think a few of you are going to like this combo. It's the Rye Bluffs map theme by Archilon. With the Corn William Lutt. It's a little bit dark and a little bit brown for my taste, but I know a lot of you are gonna really dig this one. Okay, factoids, because factoids. We're on music at the moment. Music. Handel's Messiah. Now that's a classic bit of music. That's the one that you always hear in sort of like The Shining and all the horror movies. Absolute classic. Was first publicly performed in Dublin. Yeah, Dublin of all places. And then Ravel. Ravel composed only 19 hours of music over 42 years. What's about half an hour a year? He's the one who did Bolero. Do you remember Bolero? Yeah, Torval and Dean, 1980-ish. Ish, I don't know. It was around there. Okay, it won't surprise you there's no shipping routes. I'm disappointed. I would love to have seen the shipping routes worked into this. It would have been brilliant if it could have been done, but there is no shipping routes. Water flow. The water flow, there's no water sources, so you're reliant on what pushes in from the outside of the map, but because there's loads of channels, all drowned tree, make note, drowned tree, because there's lots of channels, you get a lot of water being pushed through, but of course it's got to get out the other side as well somehow, and of course it won't, it'll well up in the middle. Let's find that start square, and around the start square we've got yeah, there are locations that you can stick your outflow, but you're gonna have to be careful. It's gonna need some planning. Make sure you do your planning carefully with this one. It's not a forgiving map. It's not a forgiving map. Okay, Noisia by Mouton Roshi. I don't really know what more to say about this. It could have done with a little bit of smoothing. You can see the pixelization along the riverbanks there. Just the digitization more than pixelization, isn't it? I would say. Let's just check, see how wide these actually are in real life. Hang on, if we do it that way across there, yeah, you can look at it. They're not as slim as you first think. You can get a moderate amount of zoning down on these, so don't write it off completely. And if you want that aesthetic challenge, this is possibly a map to give a bit of a go. Don't write it off. I keep telling you this. There's no hills, obviously. You've got a little bit of a trough going on in the middle of this one, but generally the entire map is flat. It's all buildable. It's just tricky, and I've got to say, aesthetically very pleasing indeed. I'm like, oh, look at this Minecraft. Minecraft going on here. Yeah, the smoothing tool would have been a bit of an improvement. Okay, your chance to vote on this map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your choice. I will include the results in a future show at some point. Should be getting some time to do some of these future shows. It's been a crazy week. I'm starting to get back on my feet, and there we are. Alright, so that is that. Let me give this some marks. Aesthetically, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I think overall the design has just got to get the extra star, so I'm giving it 4 stars for aesthetics. Detailing, yeah, one road's lumpy bumpy and bits of digitisation here, there and everywhere, plus the drowned tree. Can't give it 3 stars, but it's not awful. I'm going to give it 2 stars. 2 stars for detail. Gameplay potential, if you're up to the challenge, yes. If you're not up to the challenge, no. And that's basically all I can say. I can't give it more than 3 stars, but it is playable. So it's slap bang in the middle, 3 stars for gameplay. Noisia by Mouton Roshi, that is today's map of the day. Challenging and beautiful, in a really psychedelic kind of way. Right, okay, now a quick word up. This week's late evening shows, the ones that you're used to, the map making and such, they are still temporarily on hold. I haven't quite caught up with my job lot. I am planning on doing an XCOM live probably on Wednesday night if you want to catch up with just my little voice in the background. Yes, it's flawed. I don't have the bandwidth, but yeah. What you can do though is to make up for that, if you want to vote on the map that's on screen now, that might make up for it. Yeah, that's the way to get around it. By the end of the week, hopefully everything will be back in place and hopefully start recording all these extra shows again for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very, very soon.